Hey, what's going on, gang? It's Jeff here, Stock Swinger, popping on for a unique video that I've been trying to put together for the last couple weeks. And bear with me, I haven't had a ton of time to put this together. It took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do and how I wanted to word it, and then show you guys a little bit of how I play my swing trades, okay? I've had a lot of comments, a lot of questions. I've even had some emails regarding, questions on how I play them, the stock swing ideas that I've come up with. I've always talked about the big three in there. I'm going to explain that in massive detail here tonight and go over just some things that have really kept my mind focused on how to do this properly over the years and make some gains, right? So first of all, you guys, I want to thank every one of you guys. I'm almost 1 month on YouTube. I'm already at almost 1,800 subscribers, all sorts of interaction, likes, comments, the whole thing. The only thing I'll ever ask from you guys is just like the video and subscribe. That's it. You'll never hear me begging for anything else like that. This has been a lot of fun for me, really. I've always wanted to do YouTube, like I said, but this has gone way better than I thought, and it's just been a blast. It's super fun for me to do in the evenings. I don't have a lot going on in the evenings, and it takes up some time and all that good stuff. So again, you guys, thank you very much. Let's get on to it. So, as you guys see in my channel, my about, I posted this little quick thing, just who I was real quick. And I did this before I even made my first video, right? So you guys have read through this, but my name is Jeff. I'm a swing day trader with 9 years of experience. Up until 9 years ago, I never owned a single share of stock until my old boss introduced me as a wonderful world of trading. Fast forward 2 years. After that, I left a pretty good career I was in for 18 years to do this full time, right? I'm going to be straightforward, to the point approach on this channel. I will be doing 3 to 4 videos a week on swing trades, right? With good entry points, price target, and stop loss. Remember those 3. That's part of the big 3, right? The most important thing for me and my success is stop loss. Okay, I think that's the most underrated thing you can do, because you're not going to win them all. You want to win them all, but you don't. Okay, it's the stock market. We'd all be millionaires and we wouldn't have to work again and worry about money ever, right? So stop loss. Not all these trades are going to be winners, obviously, but knowing when to get out has been a key for me. Taking a small 5 to 7% loss and move on to the next play. Legal disclaimer, but I wanted to show that you guys because this is really what I'm all about. This is how I play my trades. It took me a few years and a lot of learning and a lot of losses to get this dialed in, right? So let's just pop over to this. I kind of put this in some sort of order here, but this, you guys, is how I play every single swing trade that I play. I do about 90% swings. I do some day trading. It's very seldom that I do that. It's for me, it's too risky. Swings is where I've made my most money. If you're going to take a loss, you're going to take a minimal loss and get the heck out of the trade, right? So this is really in no order, but let's go over these, you guys. Super important stuff here, and I think a lot of you guys are really going to enjoy this. But this is how I do it. By no means, you guys, I am not a financial advisor. This is just for fun on the old YouTube channel. And this is just what I do. So I'm not telling you guys how to spend your money. This is what I do as a swing trader. Okay. So stock swinger, my keys to success for swing trading. Okay. First one, never add more than 10% of your portfolio at one given time. Right? So let's just say you got $1,000 in there. You're going to add 10% into each play. A lot of people think this is high. Personally, I try to stick to around 10%. Sometimes I'm a little bit more, but I put 10% in here because this is a good, safe place to be, right? Swing plays can be a couple days or a few weeks. Some plays, rarely, if you're really going to time it and get lucky, remember, you guys, the stock market is not a casino. A lot of people play it like a casino, especially this day and age with the Reddit and the Robinhood people. Robinhood might as well be a casino in there, right? But these can take usually a few days to some of them a few weeks. I've done a couple videos with some alerts that I put out there where I've also put in there that, hey, this is going to be a longer hold. So some of these, you want to call them longer swings. I call them longer swings, but some of them, and I made it clear, they're a 3, 4, 6 month hold, whatever they are. But for the most part, you guys, these are going to be a few days to a few weeks long, couple, 2, 3 weeks long, right? Just on an average, right? And then here, stocks under $1 and then stocks under $3. Now, I have alerted, for whatever reason, the last month and a half, I've been in some bigger plays. I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy in these bigger stocks. And I'm sure a lot of people that are on YouTube, you're in the penny stocks, anything under $1 up to a couple bucks, $3. That's my sweet spot, honestly. So those are ones that I kind of look for, but for whatever reason, I've been in some bigger plays. I try not to, just because I like buying more shares, it makes you feel like you're going to do way better, but that's just me. So stocks under $1, generally, you're looking for about a 7% stop loss. Remember that stop loss, and we'll get to that in a minute, that 5 to 7%. So stocks under $1, we're looking at a 7% stop loss, okay? Stocks over $3, you're looking at about a 5% stop loss. Now, I've had some questions on this too, and I'll get to this as we go on down here too, as far as setting a stop loss rather than a mental stop loss. A lot of people think, hey, I can control it, or you want to be glued to your phone through, pre-market all the way until after 12, 13, 14 hours a day. It's not going to happen. We don't have that kind of time. No one, I don't care what you say, what you do, no one's going to sit in front of the computer and be able to watch this all day long. So setting stop limits is a very, very important thing. And that's just me, right? And I know I've said that in my previous videos, but I want to go into detail about it in these ones here too. So remember, stocks under $1, stocks under $3, 5 and 7%, right? Do not trade unless you have a plan. That to me, you guys, and this will make more sense as we go down this list here, but you're going to have a plan for each trade, right? You already know what you're going to do. Let's just say, hey, I've got $1,000. I'm starting with $1,000 portfolio. I'm going to be no more than 10% in each position. My targets are such and such, targets 1, 2, or targets 1, 2, and 3. My stop loss on this trade is going to be 7%. So always know, before you even click the buy button, whatever you're doing, know what you're doing with each play. I'm an old school guy. A lot of you guys get these Excel spreadsheets and all of this stuff. I like to do most of my stuff by hand. I have a little yellow tablet, one of them lawyer looking tablets. I buy those by the case. I use those. I like visualizing, touching, writing, and knowing what my plays are. I usually update it once a week. I'll start fresh on Monday or usually Sunday when I'm trying to figure everything out. But very key, you guys. And you guys, all this stuff might sound a little bit corny as we're going here. I don't want to say corny. That's probably the wrong word. But every single play, I do this same stuff repetitively. It might, I can skip this time. And I'll show you guys a couple things here in a second. I don't need it on this one. I'm going to be in front of my computer. I don't have my daughter in the afternoon, or I'm off work at 2. I don't have to worry about a stop loss. No. Follow all of this, you guys. I'm not telling you what to do, but this is what I do. And it's, again, it took me a few years to really get this dialed in, you guys. And then the big 3, I've had a lot of questions, comments, and even emails about this one, right? We're looking at that 5 to 10% starter position in each play. And then you're going to be adding along the way 20, 40, 60, 80, and then 100%. This can go, I've seen a lot of plays, if you pulled up how to enter a swing play, right? You're going to see a million different ways of doing it. Some people do you're going to add 25% and then you're going to go another 25 and then 50% in a full position. Or if it's really running, you try to get in quicker. You guys, for the most part, I follow this all the time. Okay, all the time. A lot of questions have come out too, and I'll get to this as we go along. Well, what if you're not fully in a position and it runs? Doesn't matter. Profit's profit. And we'll get to that in a few minutes, you guys. Okay? Before each play, have a profit percentage and a stop loss plan in place. We kind of touched that up here with this, have a plan. But remember, that's very important. And what I do, you guys, just so you know, if I have my plays, let's say it's Sunday night and I've written down or we've gone over, me and my boys, hey, we're going to get into these next week. I'll write down on a tablet on a piece of paper exactly what I'm going to do, what my plan is, how much I'm going to enter. And this is just me. I always have this tablet next to me. I keep it in my office at where we do our trading and I do my sports card stuff, but I always have it right next to that computer. That's just me. You can get a fancy spreadsheet going. It doesn't matter, right? But remember, These two things are very, very important. Always have a plan on each play and follow those every single time. That's what's worked for me, right? Unless you're glued to your computer or your phone, do not have a stop loss in your head. This one, kind of touching on what we talked about there. I think I told this story a few videos ago, but I took some beatings when I never wanted to set a stop loss and, oh, I'll just wing it, or I like to gamble, screw that 5-7% stop loss. I'm going to let this thing rip. If it dips down 20-30%, who cares? That was my mentality, because I've touched on that too. I'm a gambler by nature. I loved the casinos when I was younger, and blackjack, if I lost it all or won big, it didn't matter to me. I had to get that out of my head, because I wouldn't be doing this now if I was still the same way that I was. So unless seriously, and there's maybe 1% of you and you're doing a bunch of those no-dose pills and you're glued to your computer, always have your stop losses set. Super important. Not in your head. Sure, they can be in your head, but set them. Something's going to happen. You can get up, go to the bathroom, and the stock's going to drop 20, 30, 40%. You don't know. So very important, right, you guys? This one here. This one is a very key one too, about the FOMO, the whole fear of missing out deal, right? Try and enter as close to or below the entry price. Like when I put my entry prices in there, it might be a couple cents difference, or it might dip the next morning or run up a couple cents. Either way, try to get in at that price. Like if you wake up and you see an alert, or whether it's one I did or you got one from somewhere else, and it's already running up, it's up 12, 15, 18%, move on to the next play. The stock market is filled with stocks. There's always going to be a play the next 5-10 minutes, the next hour, or whatever. Just remember that. That's one's very important to me, because I got caught doing that a lot too. I would hop in something and then it's just, you're setting yourself up for disaster, right? If you miss a play and it's running big, move on. Do not sit and beat yourself up about if it's running big. That kind of ties into this one too. The one thing I used to do, and boy, it used to drive me nuts, is if I seen a play and I did not get in, I would sit there, whether I was on the app on my phone or in front of a computer, and you would go back and look at that thing running. You can't stay away from it. So let's just say that happened at 10 in the morning, right? And this thing is running. Let's say it ran up 100%, just throwing a number out there, right? And it's gradually going up. It's up 12%. You missed out, right? You are going to spend your entire day going back and looking at that trade. I know some of you guys are probably giggling when I said this, because you have done this. Get out of there. And that goes the same, and we'll touch on that in a minute too, is if you are in a play, you took your profits, you knew what your plan was ahead of time, get out of that play and move on. Do not spend your time going back and looking, wish I woulda, coulda, shoulda, I should have stayed in, I should have sold this time, I should have bought more. You can never time anything right. You're never going to time anything at the exact top of a peak. It's just doesn't happen. Again, you guys, that goes back to the stock market. If this was easy, we would all be millionaires, right? So that's that was one that's hard for me, because you're basically going back in and looking at something that you were never even a part of. Of course you wish you could back up 2-3 hours ago and hop into it and you'd make a 80% gain. Yes, of course. Right, you guys? Makes sense? So you don't want to concentrate too much on one play if you weren't fully in. All the stuff I just touched on, you just want to get out of it and move on. Move on to the next play. Go spend time with the kids. Go have a lunch. Do whatever. But you're going to beat yourself up. It's going to make your blood pressure go through the roof, and you're going to kill yourself over it. It's just bad business, right? So again, you guys, these are not all of the stuff we're touching on today here is very hard to do all of these. It takes time to figure it out. But you guys, again, when I do all of this stuff, I don't miss one step. It's completely embedded into my head now, and I'm a thick-headed dude. I'm hard to, when I want something my way or I want to gamble, I want to do it. But when it comes to the stock market, you have to do these things, right? This one here, the next one, trade a method, not hunches. One trade outside of a trading method is not good. So we can talk about this for 10 or 15 minutes, but follow trends, your methods, your plans. Don't say, oh man, we got news coming tomorrow, or I read this post on Reddit or Yahoo and I think it's going to do this. No. Follow your plan. Do the method. Don't do a hunch. Don't try to beat the stock market, because I tell you what, you're not going to win, right? So that kind of makes sense there. Don't fight the trend in your time frame of a play. Just follow the trend. These two kind of go in hand, right? The trend meaning anything. If you're getting into a play, you're following, or let's just say I alerted something or somebody else alerted something. Hey, we have news catalyst coming up on Wednesday, Monday. If you're stopping out, you don't want to, you want to follow the trend, whatever that trend is, whether the chart's following you there, whatever that is, stay the course, right? Makes sense there. This next one too, do not try and predict what will happen. Follow the trend. These are kind of the same things. Again, don't try to think, oh gosh, this is going to run up to this, I need to do this, and then go break all of your rules. Don't break your rules, right? Those two kind of go in hand. Don't fight the trend. Just stay the course, do what you're supposed to do, and everything will work itself out. Whether you make gains or you stop out, whatever it is, follow that trend, right? 100% of the time, use a stop loss on all trades. I threw this down here because I know we've touched on it. I know I've said it. It goes back to me in my bio on YouTube. Stop loss is what's made me successful. You're going to hear me say this probably 3 or 4 times a video, and then you're going to probably hear me say this by the end of this video. Jesus, who knows how many times, right? That is very key. Does it suck to stop out on a trade? Of course it does. But you know what? Again, they're not all winners. So I wanted to touch on that, bring this up to point down here. But you guys, this is something here that I follow religiously. Okay. Next one, we are not married to a trade. If you're not in full position, it's fine. Profit is profit. I threw this in here because I had, oh man, I think I probably had 4 or 5 messages about this. How do you know if you're fully in a position or whatever? This is a tough one because you're not going to be fully 100% into position all the times, right? If you hit targets 1, 2, or 3, whenever you're taking your profits, if you're fully out, again, you guys, it goes back to this right here. Profit is profit. Take it, move on, get into the next position. Don't beat yourself up about it. Don't go back in. Don't break your rules of adding along the way. Follow all of these, and this one's critical too. This goes again what I've said 10 times probably in this video. And you guys, sorry if everything's repetitive, because I think a lot of it I need to say a bunch of times just because it's super important, right? And again, that goes back to me being a thick-headed son of a gun. It took me a long time to get that stuff in my mind, right? So no matter what the case is green. If you're 60% in a position, cool, move on. You've done it. It's not going to go, I put these targets out, or wherever you're getting your targets, they're targets for a reason, right? They're chart reading. They're all of that stuff to say, hey, this is targets 1, 2, and 3. Take your money, go on, right? Okay, so trade each position size you are emotionally and mentally comfortable with. This one is a pretty big one for me too, because this took me a while to get into my head. Like, let's say you're following your rules, you're 10% of your portfolio. Now, let's say you got some news, or there's a news catalyst coming out, or you really like the stock. It's something that you like, like let's just throw something out there like, AMC, you love that stock. You love the movie theaters. So maybe this one will break our rule and we'll throw 40% of it in. This one's going to be the home run. Don't do that. But just, whatever you're emotionally and mentally comfortable with, trade like that. A lot of people are super conservative. They might go back to the rule of, hey, I'm only going to use 5% of my portfolio with my $1,000 I have in there on each position. Some of you might say, screw it, and go up to 20, 30, 40%, or whatever the case is. But use them consistently, and whatever you're going to be comfortable with, you're going to be comfortable with. So that's generally how you'll trade going forward. Like if you really stuck to everything and you're going to do, 10% of my portfolio in each trade, that's your comfort zone, right? So that makes sense. This one's a monster one. Monster. Now, if you guys have ever seen any, I'm a huge AMC guy. I've been in AMC since January. It's a whole different topic, right? But the reason why I'm saying this is stay off of the big media outlets, right? Jimmy Cramer, Yahoo Finance, Market Watch. I threw those in there just to give you an idea, right? Any big media outlet. The one thing that is okay is Reddit is absolutely outstanding. Pick your choices in there. Take some advice. There's some of the smartest people in the world in Reddit. Now, the reason why I say this here too, most of these companies, not all of them like Yahoo and all that, but there is a gazillion companies. Like if you Google Apple stock, just throwing a stock out there, right? It's going to pull up, 5 pages of news. Most of that news that you guys see is owned by hedge funds. It's owned by folks that try to manipulate and do this and do that. Like, for instance, with the AMC movement, all these big media news outlets, all of these hedge funds that are shorting AMC, a lot of those companies, the market watches and companies out there, they own them. So they're going to say what they want to say to benefit them, not you. So this is a big one. Don't get up in the morning or in the afternoon, look for Jim Cramer to give you advice on whatever play you're in. You're probably not going to see it. Trying to stay away from the bigger sites, right? This is a very, very important one. Concentrate on what you do. Get in front. Do your own due diligence on each play, right? But don't look for advice from these guys because it's probably going to be negative. Okay, so that's a very, very important one here. This one too, very important, because remember me, back to me being a gambler, do not try and hit a home run with every trade. A lot of these trades that we do, you guys, these under $3 ones and the under $1 that we talked about, these are 10 cent, 50 cent gains. It doesn't seem like a lot, but if a stock is, your entry point 79 cents and it runs up 10%, that's a nice old gain. Okay, so don't try to hit a home run on every play. Don't try to outthink the targets that were presented to you, whether you did them, somebody did them, whoever did them. Take your gains and move on, right? Don't try to hit a 80%, 60% gain on every play because it's not going to happen. It's just really not going to happen. Again, that we would all be millionaires, right? Next one. This one here, try to lock in your profits, right? Try to get your initial investment back. If it hits, the main thing to do with this one, if it hits your first target, take your investment out and let the rest run, right? That's not going to work every time. But you want to scale out usually when you hit a first target, get some profits, get your investment back, right? That way you're locking in some profits, and then let it ride, okay? Or if you stop out, whatever whatever happens there, right? This one, very important. I know if you guys use Robinhood or if you use Webull or whatever, or even, I find myself sometimes, I've got 3 monitors in front of me and I've got my phone going too. What the hell am I doing? Right? But this one here, hide your profit screen. There's way too much access to everything. Stay away from looking at profits, doing all of that stuff because you want to go buy your percentages. Don't flip it over and say, oh God, I'm up $180 or I'm up $1,800. No. Hide your profit screens. Very, very important. Okay. This one, do not jump back in plays. Okay. You set a goal before you got in, take profits and do not look back. That kind of goes to what we said up there with, moving on from a play. Don't go back. Don't jump back in there. If you've made, let's say you're 100% into a play. Okay. It ran up 20%, 30%. You've done about as good as you could possibly do on that trade. You're completely out of that trade. Do not even go look at it. Don't look at it. Don't Google it later. Move out, move on, concentrate on your next play. It doesn't matter if you go back there and this thing ran up 200%. Okay. Oh, I wish I would have stayed in the play. Oh my God, what a dummy. No, you're not. No, you're not. This one is super, super important. Again, it's going to go back to what I said. If something hit and it keeps running all day, you're going to spend the rest of your day looking at your damn cell phone or your computer monitor and beating yourself up. You guys, we're not married to the stock market. We're not married to stocks. We're not married to each play. Profit is profit. Jump in, jump out. If you're 40% in, 60% in, you hit targets, get out and don't look back, right? And you guys, some of this is repetitive, but it's super, super important, okay? But that's a really important one too. You can spend 60, 70, 80% of your day going back and wish I woulda, coulda, shoulda, okay? Hide your profit screen when you're in the green. Concentrate on your percentages you target, not the money. Again, that kind of goes back what we talked about there. I always turn your profit screen off of there, go by the percentage or whatever, but that's super important there too. And then you guys, this one here, do not trade with your emotion. Relax. Follow all of the rules, right? Whether you take some advice from me, a little bit from me, a little bit from another guy, it doesn't matter, right? But what has made me super successful is I've touched on most of everything that I do with all that we've gone over here is following this stuff. It really honestly is. Don't let your ego, don't let your emotions, jump you back into a play and all that stuff. Just don't do it, right? So I hope you guys, that really helped with some of the questions that I had. I touched on most everything we should have, but let's touch on one other thing before I get out of here, right? And I had a couple of emails and some folks that wanted me to kind of explain like a position. And what you guys, I'm going to do here, I know I talked about this a couple weeks ago, is I'm going to get a little bit more time. I'm going to dedicate this YouTube channel now that it's doing good to these swing plays. But the most important thing I want to do is do a public portfolio with the alerts that I talk. I think I'm going to probably start one with like $1,000 account. So let's just draw out real quick what that would look like. Like, let's say you popped in $1,000, okay, into whatever, Robinhood, doesn't matter what broker, right? So you got $1,000 in there. Now you're going to go find your swing targets, your swing plays, whatever you're going to do. And remember, you guys, you're going to do, whoops, stupid thing wigged out on me. Sorry, guys. Whoa, you're going to do that 10%. 10%, right? So you're going to have 10 plays, basically, with your $1,000, right? So let's just say you found 10 plays. You're going to get what 10 plays is going to be $100. Sorry, guys, the thing's wigging out. So it's going to be $100, 10 plays, right, at $100. So you got all your 10 plays sorted out, right? You're going to set your stop losses. Let's just say they're all at 5%. Just throwing a figure out there, right? 5%. This thing's wigging out. You can kind of get the idea. So let's just say they're all at 5%, right? Your stop loss, if you're losing on, 5% of $100, or let's just say also too that one play ran up 20%, right? So if you're at $100 and let's just say you stopped out at 5%, you're losing $5. But if you run up that 20%, you're going to gain 20, or if in 30%, $30. So your stop loss is going to outweigh what you're making in the money, right? You guys get the picture. It kind of goes back to that, to what we originally talked about there. So the main thing, you guys, with all of these, you want to, let's just touch on the basics here, right? Let's just say 10%. We kind of just touch on that, right? Always make sure your stop losses are set at that 5 to 7%. You can judge your threshold there on what you guys are wanting to do, and then look for the dollar stocks. You can take a little bit more of a loss on the smaller ones, 5% in anything over $3. Okay. Do not trade unless you have a plan. The big three, guys, remember, I'm going to have this posted on every single video, right? 5 to 10% starter position, adding along the way 20, 40, 60, 80% until you're fully in a position. Also remember, you're not going to always be fully in until if it hits targets, take them and go, right? We know about having a plan, all that stuff there too. Glued to the TV, we don't need to that. Never FOMO, never do the FOMO, right? Try and enter as close as you can. If something's ran up 15, 20%, move on. Don't even get back in there, right? 100% of the time use the stop losses. We touched on the trend there. Follow your plan is basically what that's telling you there. Emotionally, mentally comfortable with. You guys will have that figured out once you start trading along the way, what you're comfortable with emotionally, mentally. A good thing, a part of this is emotionally and mentally. Never trade with emotions, right? Make sure you're mentally focused. You have a game plan ahead of time. This one's a big one, you guys. Stay away from these medias. They're so manipulated. That's a whole nother video. I talk about it a ton in my AMC videos on News Catalyst, fake news, all the horse crap. Believe me, you guys, you're much better staying away from all of that. But Reddit is just fine. Reddit is outstanding. But obviously pick and choose there too, right? Remember, a lot of these are little gains. Take your profits and move on. Hide your profit screens. Do not jump back into plays if you see something running. Right? Relax. Don't trade with emotions. But back to this one real quick, you guys. Profit's profit. Take your play. If you're in and out of your play, stop loss. If you made 300% gain or a 20% gain, sell it. Get out of there. Don't ever look back. The only time you ever want to look back, and a lot of these swings, like EBON, I've played EBON probably 6, 7, 8 times, whatever it's been now. You're not going to get back in that screen until it's alerted again, until you've found some target. You don't ever want to get back in there until it's up and play again, you guys. So you guys, I hope that helped. Awesome. I know I had a lot of questions about that. I'm going to get this public portfolio going pretty quickly here. That'll be really fun to do. And the swings that I'm going to talk about are going to be swings that I'm going to play in there. And then probably once a week, we'll go back in there just for fun and look and see how they did. We stopped out. We can keep track of that every time. That will be a lot of fun to do. Just a smaller account, just for fun. But guys are going to see that how much over time you're going to gain, how much, profits, and how much your stop losses, you're going to lose 5% here, 7% here, but you're going to gain 12% here, 20% there. You're going to gain money. You're going to grow your account no matter what the account size is. And it doesn't matter your account size. Just go by all the numbers that we talked about, right? Whether you're throwing $500 in there, 100, 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000. It doesn't matter, you guys, right? So I hope that that helped you guys. Again, I want to thank everybody for everything. If you guys ever have any questions, always put them in the comments there. And I also have this community part. YouTube messaged me and said I have this open. Leave them in here. But I've gotten back with every single comment, you guys. And I will do that. If I try to be as timely as I can. Like I told you guys, I'm usually in front of a computer all the time. So yeah, that's it, you guys. I hope that helped a bunch of you. Thanks a bunch for everything. The only thing I'll ever ask from anybody is like and subscribe. That is it, you guys. Until next time, I'm probably going to pop on tomorrow with some fresh swing alerts for this coming week. And I'm going to try to do 2-3 videos a week with some targets in there, you guys. So I hope that helped some of you. Remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you how to play your money. I'm just telling you guys what I do with my positions and how I play my swing trades. So that's it, you guys. Love you all. Thanks a ton, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.